Laparoscopy, surgical, repair initial inguinal hernia. The physician performs laparoscopic repair of an inguinal hernia. The hernia sac is identified and reduced into the abdominal cavity. A sheet of mesh is placed into the abdominal or retroperitoneal cavity and stapled into place on the pubis and abdominal wall covering the hernial defect. Laparoscopy, surgical, repair recurrent inguinal hernia. The physician performs laparoscopic repair of a recurrent inguinal hernia. A sheet of mesh is placed into the abdominal or retroperitoneal cavity and stapled into place on the pubis and abdominal wall covering the hernial defect. Laparoscopy, surgical, repair, ventral, umbilical, spigelian or epigastric hernia, includes mesh insertion, when performed, reducible. Incarcerated or strangulated. Laparoscopy, surgical, repair, incisional hernia, includes mesh insertion, when performed, reducible. Incarcerated or strangulated. Laparoscopy, surgical, repair, recurrent incisional hernia, includes mesh insertion, when performed, reducible. Incarcerated or strangulated. Laparoscopy, gastric restrictive procedure method. The physician performs a laparoscopic gastric bypass for morbid obesity by partitioning the stomach and performing a small bowel division with anastomosis to the proximal stomach, Roux-en-Y gastroenterostomy. The physician places a trocar through an incision above the umbilicus and insufflates the abdominal cavity. The laparoscope is placed through the umbilical port and additional trocars are placed into the abdominal cavity. The trocars are removed and the incisions are closed with stapes or sutures. Laparoscopy, surgical, gastric restrictive procedure, with gastric bypass and Roux-en-Y gastroenterostomy, Roux limb 150 cm or less. The stomach is mobilized and the proximal stomach is divided with a stapling device along the lesser curvature, leaving only a small proximal pouch in continuity with the esophagus. A short limb of the proximal small bowel, 150 cm or less, is divided and the distal end of the short intestinal limb is brought up and anastomosed to the proximal gastric pouch. The other end of the divided bowel is connected back into the small bowel distal to the short limb's gastric anastomosis to restore intestinal continuity. With gastric bypass and small intestine reconstruction to limit absorption. The stomach is mobilized and the distal half is resected along a line from the lesser to greater curvature, leaving a pouch of stomach, which is connected directly to the final, distal section of small intestine. The bypassed duodenum, jejunum, and upper part of the divided ileum, the segment in connection with the gallbladder and pancreas, or the biliopancreatic loop, is anastomosed back to the common distal segment of the small intestine. This leaves a short common channel where food coming through the shortened alimentary tract combines with digestive juices from the much longer biliary tract before entering the colon.